Welcome to Missionary Flights' first ever virtual banquet. I'm Joe Carabench, MFI's president, and I hope you'll be encouraged by the stories you're about to see. How the Lord is using MFI to stand in the gap and using aviation to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. Lately, it's been different around here because of the COVID-19 pandemic, but we're still operating. We haven't been able to take passengers for the last couple months, but we take cargo each week to Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Each flight carries about 3.5 tons. Well, I'm sorry that we're not able to meet in person, but I'd like to begin this event like we do each flight, and that's with a word of prayer. Lord, you are so good to us. You have blessed us with the friendships of fellow missionaries, volunteers, and donors. Without the redemption found through your Son, we know that we would be utterly lost, and I ask you to touch the lives of those watching this virtual banquet, and my sincere desire is that you will be glorified. Thank you for calling my wife and me to stand in the gap with Missionary Flights over 20 years ago. And I thank you for each person I've had the privilege to meet as we have served you through these decades. I ask that you continue to lead, guide, and direct us to take the necessary steps to reach the Caribbean with the gospel and make an impact for eternity. In the precious name of the Lord Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen. Well, the majority of you are probably longtime prayer warriors or donors, but maybe some of you just heard about MFI for the first time because someone invited you to watch this. Well, my first time about hearing about MFI was back in the late 1980s when I was an aviation student at Moody Bible Institute. Moody's maintenance shop was working on one of MFI's DC-3s, and we took our aviation class photo sitting actually on the wings of the aircraft. Well, after graduation, we headed to Cape Cod, where my wife was from, and worked there for a little bit. The doors didn't open for us to go overseas right away, and started as doing flight instruction, and then I worked for a small airline, and eventually the Lord led us to apply to MFI. We got accepted, we raised our support, and then I started as a pilot and mechanic in the fall of 1996. With my wife and 3 young children, we moved to Florida. Our children actually became involved in the ministry. They became actors. They made quite a few cute little videos about MFI, and one was about the different hats that an MFI pilot would wear, and one was about our plans to upgrade to the modern, efficient, and faster turbine DC-3. We still enjoy watching the bloopers from those videos. Well, enough about me and my family. Let's see what the Lord is doing at MFI.
Missionary Flights International transports missionary families, teams, cargo, and life-saving supplies to Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and the Bahamas. With God's leading, Don Belden founded Missionary Flights from his dreams as a young man who realized the need and potential of aircraft and mission work. In over 56 years, the Lord has led Missionary Flights from a one-man, one-plane operation in West Palm Beach, Florida, to become a 20-person staff operation with over 50 monthly volunteers, 2 Douglas DC-3 aircraft, a Cessna 310 airplane, and operating out of 2 hangars in Fort Pierce, Florida. Missionary Flights' motto, "Standing in the Gap," is taken out of Ezekiel chapter 22, verse 30. The Lord says to the prophet Ezekiel, "I sought for a man among them who would make up a hedge and stand in the gap before me." As we share some of the work that we have been involved in over the last year, God's leading will be evident. We serve over 500 Christian nonprofit organizations, and our relationships with them are a daily reminder to us that we do more than just fly airplanes. It has been said by many of our affiliated missionaries that we are able to make their work more effective and more efficient. And along with this great privilege to be a foundational support for missionary work, We know that it is you, our prayer warriors and financial supporters, that enable us to provide dependable service to those on the front lines sharing the gospel. We encourage you to give today and make an impact on missionary work for years to come. Missionary Flights saw a busy year in 2019 as we responded to riots and political unrest in Haiti, along with the disaster of Hurricane Dorian in the Bahamas. Most months of the year, Missionary Flights will make 3 to 4 flights a week to Haiti or the Dominican Republic, transporting missionaries and cargo. With the unrest in Haiti, MFI flew additional flights to rescue missionaries and their families out of dangerous areas. We also responded to the devastation brought about by Hurricane Dorian in the Bahamas. With the help of a Cessna Caravan and pilot crew from Priority Air, we began flying 10 or more flights a week. The Missionary Flights hangar was turned into a full-scale disaster relief operation, receiving and packing donated goods and coordinating an increase of volunteers arriving to sort donated items, pack boxes, and load airplanes. From September to December, the pilots and staff at Missionary Flights worked 8 to 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. But more will be shared about this in a moment. For a better perspective on numbers, in 2019, MFI flew a total of 255 flights. Those flights included transportation of work teams, life-saving medical supplies, and relief aid for disasters. But most importantly, the wings of our DC-3 carried messengers of the gospel to share the light and love of Jesus Christ. MFI flew 4,445 passengers between Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and the Bahamas. Some of those were families escaping violence, while others included teenagers experiencing missionary work for the first time overseas. Due to the need created by Hurricane Dorian, we transported over 1 million pounds of cargo last year. Items such as backpacks, tents, building supplies, hospital beds, and Bibles. With each flight, each person, each item, Missionary Flights stands in the gap for the advancement of the gospel in order to increase the efficiency of missionary work. To our partners, both financially and in prayer, thank you for making the following stories possible.
I'll be the first one to tell you I hated ministry. And I won't go into details, God changed it. Everything that seemed difficult that I was trying to do on my own, getting to a school, getting the funds, all that changed. That's when my adventure began. My desire has always been to have a ministry that would transform this community. So I base it on a challenge one of my teachers gave me. He told me it does not cost anything to dream. So if you are dreaming, dream big. We get involved a lot. In 2004, for example, we received calls that the city of Cottages was underwater. Within 48 hours, when we had access, we went. God provided. 2010 happened again. We committed, we prayed. When we started responding, we had that day $600 in our bank account for the ministry. We took 500 of it. We buy water and crackers. We went to Port-au-Prince. Within, and I'm not exaggerating, within 48 hours. Someone to this day I have not met. Heard someone talk about Hosea, wrote a check for $150,000 and sent to us. Within a year, 2010, 2011, we raised more than $1.5 million to do outreach to people affected by the earthquake. Everything that we are, everything that we do, everything that we accomplish is by the grace of God. Over the past 35 years that I've been involved in ministry, you do not have to do it to get the credit. You can empower people to do the job. And that is where MFI comes into the picture. MFI doesn't have to be running all over Haiti to do what they do best. It's hard to explain because it's not a bag of food that you bring. It's not a box of rice that you bring. It's more the things that at the most needed time, when the need is greater than anything you can imagine, whether it is to save a life or to intervene, it is there. And it would make ministry more difficult, especially the state of Haiti today. From one day to the next, you don't know where there is a demonstration. From one day to the next, you don't know where the country is going to be locked down. And that's when it becomes so important and vital for us to have a ministry like MFI.
What you're seeing today is we're out here in Freeport. This is MFI's first relief flight out to the Bahamas. So we're out here in Freeport unloading food and water today. We're going to head back to Fort Pierce as soon as this is done and load another airplane and bring it up again. And we're going to do this until we're out of supplies. So thank you again. Without you guys, we could not do what we do.
You could smell the sewage in the water as well as the seawater, because seawater naturally smells awful. And then the death in it from the animals and the different people that already started to pass, and even certain graves that came up in the midst of it.
We've always been friends with MFI and that New Life Church, always supported them at our missions conference, and it was always nice to watch them help Haiti and everybody else out that was in trouble. Didn't know the day had come it'd be us, but we're here.
After the hurricane, I was really worried about my parents. They were in Treasure Key. And They finally got to Mount War, but I was already in Nassau. So they needed to go out. They needed to get out. They needed medical care in Florida, and they got on MFI. And I messaged Wendy and I said, is there anyone that can take them to the doctor or anywhere they can go afterwards when they get there? And we got to MFI, and Wendy arranged for someone to take them in, and they kept them for 4 weeks. They restored them. They helped them out. They replaced everything that they'd lost.
When we came out, there was Joe's wife, Wendy, waiting on us. And that was really a precious moment to see somebody we knew from we knew him from the church in Mount War. They visited quite a bit, and it was so wonderful to see somebody. And we wondered where we were going, what we could do, and they had this set up for us to go to this couple's home, which turned out to be a wonderful 4-week trip. Both of us caught up, we rested, and they were the people, the staff at MFI, they were the people that really cared, and that made us feel so much better. That helped to heal the wounds. So that was a wonderful thing that we did go out, and if it wasn't for MFI, I don't know how we'd have got out, because we were broke, no money or nothing, and they helped us a lot there.
When we're working on something, of course, we can't run by Home Depot. I really need this tool or that, and so we call up Joe or somebody and go, we need this or that, and it's usually on the next flight, almost like a MFI Amazon.
And daily, we in Mount War are grateful for MFI. Daily.
The Lord's will. I mean, there's no way I could survive it.
Somebody said y'all were a lifeline, and I said no, we're not a lifeline, more of an umbilical cord. You know, you just kept us going in every way imaginable, and we just can't express how appreciative we are, and you know, we're just truly blessed. So thank you.
And most of all, I'd like to thank the Lord for having MFI here. They came a while back and did a group here. The whole group came in, and I took them to Oaktown and Man of War. Great bunch of godly people, and just willing to serve. Like I said, I want to thank the Lord for when MFI was started years ago, and that it keeps going on, and you know, for the organization they are. It's, you know, a big thank you to them and to the Lord.
I guess for me, standing in the gap is doing whatever the Lord puts on our hearts. It's whatever, this is God's ministry, this is His vision. Because I'll be honest with you, I really had no like big missionary school or anything like that. So I feel like standing in the gap is us listening to God. What does He want done? He honestly supernaturally connects us with people. I can't even begin to tell you how everything here is just connection after connection after connection. He's made it very easy for us that way, and it's standing in the gap for what He wants done. This is my heart, because this is where there is so much love here that you don't get in America, and I know it's genuine. And you know, the people that you saw today, they loved me when I was doing nothing. Because some people are like, well, they probably just love you because you're down there doing things. No, 2008, 2000, I wasn't doing anything. We weren't doing anything like this. They just loved me because they love me. And that's awesome.
It has been about relationships with the people in Haiti. It's been about relationships with MFI. It's been about relationships with the donors. Everything has been about relationships, and so she's uniquely wired for that. And as another mission put it the other day, how, you know, she maybe doesn't know how to do any of the stuff, but she's the contact to find the people that do all this stuff, and it's because of all the relationships. It's because she talks to this person and finds out about this person.
If Missionary Flights International didn't exist, probably get about that much done. Just being honest. Nobody would be getting wheelchairs, nobody would be getting bikes. It would be hard to get the seats in. We've also brought down a couple mattresses. I brought down paint to fix up our cute little guest house. I'll be honest, without MFI, it'd be a fraction of what it is right now. I mean, I can't even, it would literally like be trying to do like this and hop on one leg. You wouldn't be able to get as much done. MFI makes what you see here possible. Missionary Flights, to me, Missionary Flights is perfect. I honestly can't think of anything that they could do differently. Everyone from Peggy who answers the phone, Sarah, Larry, the pilots, everyone, they're such a joy to work with, and I get so excited when I come down and they're excited to see me, and we share stories, and I love the fact that we pray before the plane takes off, and there's just something about flying on those planes. It's fabulous. So I'll be honest, I can't think of anything that they could change except, oh, you know what? The hospitality center. That is going to be a huge blessing. I'm not the only one of this ministry. It's also my husband, Paul. We have Fedne, Jocelyn, also known as Diggy, our agronomist, Anson, in-country coordinator extraordinaire. We also have Bruno, Bisson, Jodelin. They're all the agronomists. They make it possible what you see here. Josh, jack of all trades, could not do so many things without him. This is a whole team, but it's not even just a team, it's more like a family. We love each other. So we want to give God the glory, right guys?
Yeah.
Benny Swat Eternal!
We believe if you encourage a pastor, you encourage a church. You encourage a church, you encourage the community. Obviously, when we say encourage, we mean the light of the good news. And we believe that Satan is attacking people who want to take the good news out to Haiti. And pastors every week are trying to love on their people and share God's word with their people. And we believe they're under attack. I believe it's biblically thematic. That we are supposed to stand in the gap like Jesus did for someone else. That's being Jesus to someone else. And the reason is, we're not going to be here forever. In fact, I think we're reminded we're like grass. We rise up and then we go away. And so I believe we need to take that time and invest it in someone who can then invest in someone else and continue that. I believe churches would have so much more depth, ministries would have so much more depth. So when I come here, and we come here with Project Hope, we tell that to pastors.
From what I have learned from my study and what God teach me to teach to others, He called me to be a leader, to be a leader of leaders. Now I am a trainer to train new leaders. God is using me to transform some communities, specifically my community where we have a school, and that where we feed 166 kids. And this school specifically, but we feed 1,400 kids in 14 schools. That is a blessing for Pinion area, and we trying to make evangelism every day. The main things we do here in Project Hope is making evangelism, trying to get people to come to the Lord. And we have many people come to the Lord already.
As a witch doctor's son, I never think that in my life I will be a servant of God. And I didn't even think about going to heaven. And that showed me God truly loved me. And even though my dad died, God just take care of me. And then the love is just pouring inside of me. And I feel that I need to share that with all the nation and to let them know God has a plan for them, and to let them know God has hope. Some like they are hopeless, and I feel that I need to go to them and tell them that there is hope. There is hope in Jesus. If now I can talk about Jesus, I can talk about heaven, there is hope. And not for me especially, but for all the people who knows Jesus. Yes, that's been a lot for me.
A long time ago, to pick up team in Port-au-Prince or in Capuchin, it was so hard. Because sometimes it's manifestation, sometimes the road is muddy, sometimes it's difficult to go to Capuchin or to go to Port-au-Prince to pick up the team. Sometimes we can't pass in the road. They block the roads even if we want to go, but we can't. But now with MFI, we have the team here in Pinion at 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, we just take the bus and go to the airport and get the team. That is a blessing from God through MFI.
I believe it's a personable flight service. It's very personal. And because Christianity is very personal, I love that. So there's just nothing like linking arms with other people in ministry. And so even when the pilots, are linking arms with you, it's not like you met them on a commercial airline. You meet them on an airline that's Christian oriented and Christian based. And so I just love that we're all kind of on mission together. And it's just off the charts, and I think hard to match. And I've never experienced it before, MFI. I want to just tell you from my heart that I love you peeps there at MFI. I look forward to seeing you even early in the morning. I look forward to seeing you when we come back, return to the States, but even how you walk us through every aspect of it, even through customs and care for us, it's just unbelievable. So thank you for your ministry. I've never experienced anything like it before MFI, and I just think you're all wonderful and you're a blessing from God's hand.
Welcome to the Missionary Flights Hospitality Park. It's just around the corner from the hangar facilities that MFI moved into 14 years ago. In 2015, we acquired the property and started building. Generous donations have come in, and God has allowed us to build this awesome facility. Last fall, the 12 RV spots got their certificate of occupancy, and May 1st, we got the certificate of occupancy for the center behind me. And we're starting the construction on the 4 cottages. This facility will help us to be able to serve faithful missionaries. It'll help us to enable short-term mission teams, and it'll help us to increase our volunteer workforce as they stay in the RVs. And so we're excited about this, and we've been given another $700,000 match, and we'll talk about more of that later. We believe the Hospitality Center will produce generations of missionaries. You're not just investing in a building, but you're investing in lives. Think back to the time when you were a child or in junior high and you did go to a retreat center or somewhere, and you probably never thought about how that place was funded or how it was built or what went into it beforehand. I know for myself, going to a Christian camp and retreat times with our youth group had a tremendous impact on my life, and eventually, as I gave my life to the Lord and committed to Him full time, committed Him to go anywhere in the world and to become a missionary eventually, This is what we want this retreat center or this hospitality center, as they use it as a retreat, as we use it as short-term accommodations for mission groups, so that we have an impact on young people's lives as well as older people. This kitchen will enable us to be able to provide breakfast for the teams. If they're staying at a hotel, let's say, many times breakfasts don't open up at 5:15, 5:30 when these guys are needing to get on the road to come here to check in at 6 a.m. But we'll be able to provide something early, right in the same building where they're sleeping, and just 515 steps away from our hangar. And we'll be able to show up and they'll have their bellies full and they'll be content and ready to go on their flight to Haiti. Here we are in the guys' bunk room. There are actually 14 bunk beds here, made out of sturdy steel. And in between, we've got some storage areas that provide a bench to sit down, put your shoes on, and places for your luggage. There's an electrical plug there for all of us that we know we need to charge our phones before we head overseas and while we're getting ready, and saying goodbye to our families with some texts. But each bunk room is connected to the restrooms for the ability for them to clean up and wash up and get ready for their trip. Having the restrooms ADA handicap accessible allows us to accommodate anybody. Here in the bunk rooms is actually an opportunity for teams to get to know each other better, as opposed to hotel rooms where you can only put a few people in the room. You got your whole team here where you can chat and talk about things before you head overseas. I imagine you guys can remember when you went to camp and had those bunk rooms, and I guess you got to figure out who's going to sleep on top and who's going to sleep on the bottom. Hey, I remember when I was in 4th grade and I went off to camp, and in the middle of the night, I apparently rolled off the top bunk and landed on the floor. I'm not sure if I had a concussion or not, but I know they sent me off to the hospital, and I guess I'm still here today to talk about it. But our beds here, the bunk beds, have nice sturdy rails, so there won't be anybody rolling off the top of these. And here we are in our laundry room, which has 4 washers and 4 dryers, to be used by the managers here to keep all the sheets in the bunk rooms clean and dried, and towels and everything else. Also the ability for the RV people, the volunteers that are staying in their own RV, if they don't have a washer and dryer in their RV, they can come here and use it. Each of the cottages will have their own washer and dryer as well. But these washer and dryers make it nice for the teams as they come back from Haiti, and maybe they got some dirty clothes, obviously down in Haiti are getting pretty dusty and dirty, and they can get things cleaned up here before they head home in their suitcase. But we also are able to keep all the in-house cleaning of the linens and stuff more economical. We don't have to pay a commercial washer company to take care of it for us. And here's the pool area at the Hospitality Center. Originally, plans did not include this, but we have been blessed by some very generous donors that wanted to put a pool in and cover the whole cost, including the screen enclosure. And the great thing about the screen enclosure is that it has the screen, a very small size that keeps the little bugs out, the no-see-ums. And it's great to be able to have a big area here for community. And so we're glad that we're able to bless these missionary families for all their hard work and get them refreshed, rejuvenated, so they can go back and minister again in their country. Last fall, when Hurricane Dorian hit the Bahamas, we had many calls for people needing accommodations short term. And I know when the hurricane was heading this way, many of the people here were evacuating and stores were closing, but our place here could be a haven for those people to provide rest and meals for anybody evacuating from the Bahamas. I know many of you have given to this project, and maybe some of you haven't, but think about the impact that you can have as you donate to this project to make it complete, to be able to provide this service as we enable short-term mission teams. Well, I'm here in actually one of the RVs. We have 12 spots that we have available for volunteers to come down to bring their RV to help us with labor. If we had all 12 filled, then we'd have about 240 hours of work being done for free in a sense. And so it's a great thing to keep us operating economically. But these RV sites are just superb. They are first class. People are going to love it. And it's great to be able to bring people down here that maybe have experience in construction, have experience as maybe as an aircraft mechanic, to be able to help us. And so these are the great advantages of having the RV spots. Each RV space has been an excellent opportunity for us to actually raise funds. We've had, I think, at least 7 of these 12 already sponsored at $25,000 each. So if you're interested in sponsoring an RV spot and get your name on a paver bricks and have your name engraved as a tribute to a loved one, we can do that. One of the advantages of people coming to the RV park is for them to learn about missions while they're volunteering, to get a relationship built with us so they can be involved and not just think about a mission organization as someone you just throw your money at, but can be involved intimately as we learn about you, you learn about us, you learn about our needs. And we would hope that some people that are involved with us on an ongoing basis may even consider putting us in their will to help us long term as we continue to serve missions and get the gospel of Jesus Christ out to those who we come in contact with. We are in the process of building 4 cottages on the property. We're currently in the first cottage, the Haiti cottage. They're all 2-bedroom cottages that'll have bathrooms and a living room, dining room, kitchen, fully functional. One of them will actually be ADA handicap accessible, but these will be used for the missionary families that come through that need a place to stay while they get organized before they head overseas, or when they need time for rest and relaxation, they can come here. Also for missionaries that may have medical problems that need hospital visits, checkups, ongoing treatments, and then maybe a family that want to come down to volunteer. They can come down with their children and be able to be a part of MFI as well. One of the challenges for a new family coming on board with MFI is when they move here, where do they stay? And so the cottages will be a great solution for temporary housing for them as they get settled here and they look for a place to rent, or if they're fortunate enough to be able to buy a place. But the cottages will fill that need, and so we're excited to get them finished. I'm sure you remember moving to a new place. Maybe you got a new job and that fear of the unknown, uncertainties, and you were scared about what you were going to do. Having these cottages will be a blessing for the new staff families moving here, and even for missionary families that are going to head overseas to be able to come and stay there while they get things sorted out. As you know, at some point they've got to get rid of their current house or their current place they're renting, and they don't know the exact day they're heading overseas, how that support's coming in. They may be here for a little bit of time as they finish raising support. All sorts of blessings that we can provide for these missionaries. And that's what these cottages are for. Your donation today will make an impact on missionary work for the future.
There's some people that voiceless people that people forget about them, you know? And TCM, we're hoping that's what TCM will do for people, like to help the voiceless people. Like, cause for me, if everything going right for me, I don't care about that somebody behind me. I don't care about that somebody on my other side, you know. We don't want to be doing that. We're just here to help people triumph through the gospel, you know, and we're gonna make ourselves available to help the community. And I mean, I know we can't help everyone by one person at a time, but if we all get together, like, we can help the community, you know. A couple years ago, I got back from Haiti to do another youth camp. Somebody donated a piece of land, like, where we can, at that time I did not know what to do with that piece of land. And then we got together with the family and we said, hey, we can build a community center. And that way, after we're done with youth camp, and people can come to TCM and we can do follow up, like if somebody accept Christ, like at camp, and we can keep on doing the discipleship, you know. So that's basically what we are, like TCM. We're just there to serve the community, basically.
And we're doing that with the kids in this community, and share with them the gospel of God and feed them and play with them. That is a great ministry, and I really enjoy about it because, you know, most of the kids, they do not go in church and they do not have like a spiritual culture. But this is what we're trying to do. It's like educate them in spiritual life, and so we're trying to create a way for them to God and try to reach them for God as God has asking us to do it. And feed them every day that we meet them at the poverty. Why we do that is because most of the kids used to go out of a day without a meal. So it's a great opportunity when we meet together and feed them. So that I really enjoy it, and I think God is calling us to do something like that, not only preaching the gospel, but take care of His people in a physical way.
It is amazing to see, like, we had people show up a couple years ago, like, as campers, and now they are serving as leaders, you know. So that just showing there's something good happening. And then you got people just fighting to come to that camp. After living in the US and then starting this ministry and doing camp, we've been bringing supplies. I'm like, are they gonna let us bring those things in? I'm like, they're like, yes, as long as they can fit it in there. I mean, we're gonna bring it. And, you know, that's why I said MFI is the best.
You know, it's hard for us to, when they have something to send down in Haiti, and it will take a long time to do it, but with Missionary Flights, that's easy for us, you know. And just go to the airport and pick up stuff that, you know, sometimes you can have like urgent thing and then they just send it and you just go. Like, that's really helpful. And I really encourage Missionary Flights to keep on doing this thing that really help people in Haiti.
I love the way you guys do things, like Craig with us. I'm like, it's the best thing. That's the word, the best thing. MFI is the best thing. I had a guy came to Haiti with me. His name is Bob McMillan. He brought like a bunch of pipe from the US because he said the one we have here, they very thin. I'm like, they not gonna let us bring them. He's like, yes, they will. You know, so when we show up there, like, you guys put it on the plan, and then we were able to use it on our property. And now we got running water through them pipe and serving the community, you know. So like I said, MF5 is the best thing for missionary.
We are so privileged to have spent this time with you. We hope that you've enjoyed seeing the videos about the disaster relief work, about the progress of the hospitality park, and the Standing in the Gap videos about pastors, relationships, and community. In the Bahamas video, my heart was certainly touched when I listened to Mandy share about how MFI flew her parents to safety and helped them restore and give them 4 weeks of rest and recovery. And to hear her dad say that he couldn't imagine what they would have done if MFI hadn't been there. Wouldn't it be awesome to have the hospitality park ready when the next hurricane hits the Caribbean? May MFI be there to stand in the gap for those in need. You have been a part of standing in the gap for the missionaries by your support of MFI. We are here at a virtual fundraising banquet. Your financial investment today will bring a return for missionaries, teams, and volunteers. We want to serve faithful missionaries in need. We want to enable short-term mission teams. We want to increase our volunteer workforce. We want to continue to help those in Haiti and the Dominican Republic and the Bahamas. This hospitality park will help us do that. And as I mentioned earlier that we have a $700,000 match to complete this hospitality park. Your donation will be matched dollar for dollar. This project started in 2015 with the property purchase. Costs have been higher than estimated, but we now have an end in sight. As was mentioned earlier, for those that are interested, there are naming opportunities for donors to be recognized with a plaque for a certain room or a paver brick for an RV site. Many of the RV sites have already been spoken for where donors have given $25,000. But there are a few RV sites left. Just contact us and let us know. Well, maybe you'd like to give in honor of a loved one or express how God has blessed you and your family. Or your donation can simply be anonymous. You can give in a variety of ways. The good old-fashioned way by mailing a check. You can send it to our office at 3170 Airmans Drive. Or give online using your computer or a mobile device. You can give via credit card, your checking account, or a savings account. Just go to www.missionaryflights.org. And you can even set up a recurring donation, and that will be matched as well. In the past, some people have pledged stock and then transferred them later to MFI's Fidelity account. Maybe you bought Amazon stock for $1.73 back in May of 1997. Well, at our banquet last spring, I mentioned that Amazon stock was at $1,600 a share. Now, earlier this year, it was at $1,800 a share, and now it's at $2,500. Well, who wants to sell it and then pay capital gains tax? Now, if you transfer stock to MFI, no one pays capital gains tax. Even the value of those stocks will be matched. Now, for those of you in retirement and have that RMD, that required minimum distribution, well, an option is transferring it directly to MFI. Again, no one has to pay any tax on that kind of gift. Well, please also consider putting MFI in your will. Well, I'd like to encourage you right now to give online through the link provided in this video. I want to thank you for taking the time to join us for this first ever Missionary Flights Virtual Banquet. Your investment is going to have an impact for eternity. I pray that you continue to minister wherever you are serving. Bye-bye.